I'm going to take you through my dashboard project. This is the dashboard based on the sales data for a company for 3 years. As you can see, my dashboard has 8 different charts on it. So these are 8 charts corresponding to the different analysis tabs in the Excel file. I really did enjoy putting this dashboard together. Having to start with just the raw data really made me learn Excel. I had to decide not only what I wanted to show, but also the most efficient and effective way to show it. I really think that did help. Had I just been given the questions, what I had to do, what I had to find, I don't think I would have learned Excel as much as I really did. And Excel really is more flexible than I thought it would be. There really are a lot of things that you can do with it, and having to start from the raw data from scratch, it really made me have to show the most efficient and effective way possible, things that I had to decide that weren't given to me. So there really are so many different things you can do with Excel. I found out that when I took the data, even the same data, depending on which axes I chose or how I formatted the data, it really changed the chart. It changed what it looked like. It changed what a cursory glance of it would show. And this really would be interesting for managers to look at. So what am I looking at? What are they trying to show me? Are they trying to show me something that's really not there? Are they manipulating graphs in some way? I think you are able to do that to a certain extent. My favorite thing to do for the project was probably to record the macros. I've seen them used in other dashboards, didn't really understand how they are, but they're so much simpler than I thought they would be, and they really are just so useful. I know that I'll definitely utilize them again in the future. And one thing a takeaway I do have from it is I want to find the different things you can do with them. I kept it pretty simple for the project. I turned a bar chart into a pie chart. That's on my dashboard page, or in one of the analysis tabs. I have it showing and removing spark lines. I'm sure there's a lot more that they could do, and I look forward to kind of figuring it out, playing with it some, and getting more familiar with it. Coming up with the questions, as I said, was probably one of the most challenging things that I had to do. The video instructions it was funny because it said not to overthink it and it should be simple, when in reality it was probably the most challenging thing. I really had trouble with it. I do tend to overthink things, and I found it difficult just to come up with an idea and roll with it. So because of that, I went through several revisions, and each time I would come up with a question, I'd go ahead, format the chart, see what it looked like, see if I liked or didn't like it. So it was a very time-consuming part, and it probably shouldn't have been. I'm sure there was an easier approach, but the more charts I played with, the more I really did learn. The way the raw data was set up did pose a particular problem for me. The first year, all the units sold per transaction were relatively small. So the first transaction sold 1 unit, the second transaction sold 2 units, so on and so forth. But by year 3, they were astronomical compared to year 1. This made it difficult to create graphs that were legible because they just didn't really look right. It didn't really flow right. And this is something that the people I interviewed also noticed and kind of questioned. And I explained to them where the data came from. Once they looked at the data, they really saw. But it was definitely a challenge. Had the data been a little bit more consistent, I think it would have been easier both to create the questions and to create the dashboard graphs, because some of the things I didn't like, some of the reasons some of the graphs were scrapped is because it just was off. It didn't look right. With 2012 sales being so much higher than 2010 sales, it didn't fit, so I had to change it so that it was a little more user-friendly and it looked a little better. Alright, well, thank you all so much.